The Legend of the Anti-Mouse. How Rat Fink and Trixie Chewed Through Americana. Mickey Mouse might have the theme parks, but Rat Fink had the streets. Today, we're deep diving into the Anti-Mouse, a monster born on a greasy napkin that chewed through corporate Americana and left a trail of pinstripes in its wake. Mickey versus the Monster. The greasy gospel of Big Daddy Ed Roth. Before we redline this engine, if you missed our last look at the outlaw history of the 1950s, check out the link in the description. Chapter 1. The Mad Scientist of Mayhem. Our story doesn't begin in a dust-filled library. No, instead, it begins in the fume-filled garages of Southern California. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, Ed Roth was a visionary whom a corporate publicist appropriately dubbed Big Daddy. While mainstream builders were busy playing by the rules, Roth was an engineer of anarchy, founding the Kustom Kulture movement. He was a true pioneer, the first to deep dive into fiberglass fabrication, birthing a fleet of outlandish show cars, like the bubble-top beatnik bandit and the psychedelic druid princess. But even as his fame grew, Ed remained a garage rat at heart. You could often find him hawking t-shirts out of a simple pop-up tent at out-of-the-way car shows, preferring the grassroots connection of the grease-stained faithful over the polished pomp of the professional circuit. Can't say that I blame him either. Chapter 2. The Anti-Mouse is Born. To understand Rat Fink, you have to understand Ed's pure, unadulterated loathing for the mainstream rodent. Ed Roth hated Mickey Mouse. To him, Mickey represented the sanitized, plastic, yes-sir culture of post-war suburbia. Ed needed an anti-hero, an anti-mouse. Legend has it that in 1958, while sitting in a diner, Ed sketched a response to Disney's corporate pet. He imagined what Mickey would look like after a 3-day bender in a chop shop. He gave him bulging, bloodshot eyes, a perpetually surprised grimace, and a fly-covered tail. He put him in a set of red overalls with RF on the front, a direct middle-finger parody of Mickey's clean aesthetic. Rat Fink wasn't just a character. No, he was a declaration of war against the squares and the drapes. Chapter 3. Trixie and the Roth clan. But a monster needs a match, and Ed's life wasn't just chrome and fiberglass. It was a complex family saga. Behind the ink, Ed was a man searching for a co-pilot. While his early years were a whirlwind of 4 marriages and 5 sons, it was his final wife, Eileen Trixie Roth, who became the true anchor of his chaotic universe. Trixie wasn't just a housewife. She was the first lady of the frantic. She embraced the grease, the art, and the monsters. In the world of Kustom Kulture, she inspired the Trixie Fink character, the bold, assertive queen of the garage. She wasn't a damsel in distress. She was a high-spirited partner in crime who knew how to handle an airbrush as well as a wrench. Life at the Roth house was anything but suburban. Ed was known to deep dive into his projects at all hours, often wearing his signature top hat and monocle just to mess with the neighbors. Despite the outlaw persona, Ed eventually found a different kind of peace, converting to Mormonism in the 70s. A move that shocked the hot rod world, but provided the stability his mad scientist soul finally craved. Here's a little fun fact. Once upon a lifetime ago, Johnny and I were members of a motorcycle club, and our road names were actually Rat Fink and Trixie. So, when I started the History Rats, I knew that our MC careers were coming to an end, and although it really hurt my feelings to have to close that chapter of my life, I thought then I was doing what was best for my chapter, which was my family, so I don't regret it. But I actually named the History Rats in honor of Rat Fink and Trixie. That way we would take a little gypsy with us wherever we went, because I might not be a member of the club, but the club is still a member of my family. Always will be. So, there's your fun fact. If you want to get behind the velvet curtain stories on Ed's personal archives, head over to our Patreon. Your support keeps these histories alive and the shop lights on. Chapter 4. Chewing Through the Mainstream. Roth was a marketing genius. He realized that if you couldn't afford a custom car, you could certainly afford a $5 t-shirt or a plastic model kit. By teaming up with Revel, Ed and his cast of characters from Rat Fink to Mr. Gasser became household names. His career was a roller coaster of fortunes earned and blown. Whether he was running Chopper's magazine or traveling the country in a cheapo, tire-eating hearse, Ed lived a life of luxurious obstinacy. He stayed true to the outsider wildman persona because it wasn't a shtick. It was his DNA. Chapter 5. Lore versus Fact. The Disney Lawsuit. Lore. Disney sued Ed Roth for millions and tried to ban Rat Fink from the earth. Fact. While Disney's legal team certainly wasn't thrilled about the parody, there was never a massive death blow lawsuit. In fact, Ed's genius was staying just underground enough to avoid the corporate crosshairs. The lawsuit stories mostly served as great street cred for Ed's brand. Chapter 6. The Fink Legacy. Big Daddy Ed Roth passed away in 2001, but the Rat Fink mayhem he sparked shows no sign of slowing down. Every year, the faithful gather in Manti, Utah for the Rat Fink reunion to honor the man who saw beauty in the grotesque. Trixie Roth still keeps the flame alive, overseeing the museum and ensuring that the anti-mouse continues to haunt the dreams of the corporate elite. Ed Roth proved that as long as you have a vision and a little grease under your fingernails, you can change the world, one monster at a time. But Ed wasn't the only one building monsters in the 1960s. In the future, we're going to look at the man who built the Batmobile and the legendary feud that split the Kustom Kulture world in two. Before you head out to the garage, do us a solid. Hit that like button and subscribe to join the History Rats crew. It helps us keep the history books open and the engines roaring. Until next time, keep the shiny side up, and as always, be good to each other.